What is up? Original here, and today I'm going to show you how to solo Wintertodt. It's a super easy thing to do. It's really not hard, but it does take a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of practice to get it down right. Basically, what you're doing when you're soloing Wintertodt is you're trying to farm points. You're getting the max amount of points possible to get the most rewards. The reasons you would do this are either farming for a pet, you're farming for a specific item. If you're an Iron Man trying to get that dragon axe. Another reason you want the most gold from this, from your experience at Wintertodt. A lot of Ultimate Iron Men like to do Wintertodt because it gives you a ton of construction and fletching XP. I haven't been soloing the whole way to 99, only since I got 98. So my levels aren't super high there. But I'm doing my Iron Man progression series, and I figured that this would be the perfect time to show you how to solo Wintertodt. I do have two accounts with 99, or I guess one with 99, the other with 98. This will be 99 very soon. But yeah, so let's get right into it.
Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to grab these unfinished potions. I typically start with about 8 just because it looks really neat in the inventory, and it typically lasts me for quite a while into the solo. Not always the whole time, but sometimes it'll last the whole solo. So once you have all those, you run over here and you grab as many of the herbs as you got of the potions. That way you can make them all, obviously, so you can revive all of the pyromancers. Next thing you want to do is you want to light all 4 of the braziers. You want to run around and light them all. It makes it a little bit easier if you do have 60 agility because you can just hop that shortcut, but if you don't, just run the other way around. Alright, once you get all 4 lit, you're kind of in a waiting game. Basically, you need to try to keep as many of them lit as possible. Up until about 20% is a really good place to let some of them die down. So that one just went out and we're still at 75%, so I'm going to light it back up. Okay, so that other one broke, but I don't want to waste ticks by just running straight there, so I grab a few logs so I can fletch while I run. That's a really good tip to keep in mind, is that you always want to be fletching so you can get the points as quickly as possible. Alright, so if you look, the top 2 just extinguished, so I'm going to go ahead and go light one of them. But since this one broke and I'm next to it already, I'm going to light that one first. Alright, making my rounds. I still want to light them all because we're still only at about 40%. So we want to keep them all lit so we can get it as low as possible. The ideal range of health for the Wintertodt to keep it at is between 6 and 12 because it won't damage you ever. Really, it's very rare that it does damage you unless it's from the breaking braziers, because it still does do that. But the random attacks, it will almost never damage you between 12 and 6%. So if you look, we're getting down at about 15%, so I really don't need to keep lighting the braziers. So I'm going to stick to 1. Make sure you're dodging so you don't take too much damage. Of course, it's pretty hard to die at this point because it really doesn't do that much damage. So basically what we're going to do here from now until the end, until we have our 13,500 points, is we're just going to stay at the 1 brazier, and we're going to keep fletching and cutting wood and fletching and loading it and repeating. We do want to keep it lit unless we're under 10%. It is pretty risky. If it hits, I would not light it again to load it unless it's above 6%. If it's below 6%, it's pretty risky. It can end the game early. So right now it's sitting at 9%, so I'm just going to keep on lighting it and fletching. Since it's sitting at about 7%, which is closest to 6, you can go ahead and leave it unlit. Around 9% is when you do want to light it again, because the closer you can keep it to 6, the better. And just a quick tip, if you watch my mouse here, the second I light it, I instantly click on the next log to fletch it. This, you can actually tick manipulate and cut out a few ticks between the lighting and the fletching. So yeah, as you can see, all that we're doing right now is we're playing the waiting game. We're fletching and loading, cutting, fletching, loading, just repeat, 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 keeping the health between 6 and 12%. It's okay if it goes a little bit over. I would say don't let it go above 15 and don't let it go below 6. If it is at 5 or below, do not light it because you run the risk of ending the game early. But as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to when I have more points so I can show you guys how to start preparing to end the round. And here we are, we're at about 12,500 points, so that means that we're ready to start looking to end the game. Basically, what we want to do is we want to keep the health a little bit lower than we have been for the rest of the game. So right now it's at 6%. I'm just going to cut a few logs and then I'm going to run over and fix it. Perfect. So we're going to fix it, we're going to light it, and we're going to start fletching. So it's sitting at about 7% right now. And you can see I'm turning so I can start looking at the other one as well. So keep loading, keep it lit, and fletch a little bit more. We're going to light it back up. I'm going to fletch a couple. Here we go. Light this back up, and then we're going to run over, and we're going to light the other brazier. And all that's left to do is to keep this brazier lit up until the end of the game. Typically, Wintertodt will extinguish the other brazier a few times, and you'll have to run back and forth a few times, but it stayed lit this time, so it made it very, very easy to end. And there we go. That's really all that there is to it. It's a pretty easy boss to handle. If you really notice, I mean, I only ate 2 pieces of a cake, which means that I healed 8 health, so I didn't really have to heal at all. It's really not that difficult of a boss to handle. All you have to do is light the 4 braziers until about 30 to 20%, and then you stick to one, try to keep the health between 12 and 6%. That ending went very, very smoothly. Normally you would light the first brazier and run to the second. But the first one would go out and then the second one would go out and you'd have to run back and forth a few times. This one, it stayed lit, so it was a very, very smooth and easy ending. Now this chest is super, super exciting. From this chest I will get 27 rolls from the rewards table. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the experience gained. So as you can see, 279,000 experience per hour. That is less than if you did a Wintertodt world. But you get so much more fletching and construction experience. Typically in a Wintertodt world, I would get between 290 and 300,000 in just fire making. But I would get nowhere near the 9,000 construction and fletching experience that I'd get through doing solos. When you solo, you get to fix the brazier 30 to 40 times in a round, as opposed to the 1, maybe 2 if you're lucky, in the world. Also, as far as fletching goes, I typically only fletch 1 per inventory, or if I'm really behind in points. because it's a really good way to catch up in points in the Wintertodt world. But I'm willing to sacrifice the 20,000 experience that I lose by soloing because I get so much better rewards. It is absolutely worth it if you're looking for rewards. If all that you care about is leveling up as fast as you can, getting the grind over with, I would recommend that you stick with the Wintertodt worlds. This will take longer, but it's absolutely worth it. And yeah, that's really all that there is to it. So I hope that I was able to help you guys learn something, and that you'll be able to take this guide and use it to defeat the swirling vortex of death. Alright, have a good one.